Hi, I'm Reed, this is Crowland Publishing, and what for me is a dark and stormy night, we are going to talk about doing mystery adventures. How to write them, how to run them, how to plan them out. Okay, so it's not an ad, that will come in time, but I write novels, and I have written 5 occult detective novels, so I've written 5 mysteries, as well as short stories, comics, all that stuff. I also wrote 2 books for Call of Cthulhu, which is a game of detection. My favorite superheroes are dudes like Batman and Daredevil and Moon Knight. I like it when dudes solve cases. Love it. I'm into it. So I think that mysteries are loads of fun, and I bet that you will too if you run them. For starters, there's loads of stuff for characters to do. Plan it right, and every character can have input into it. The barbarian understands how strong you would have to be to lift that gate. The bard understands that that was an elven language. The warlock goes, yes, the cult of Zymox from many, many centuries ago. There is stuff for everyone to do if you plan it right. Also, it is a great way to introduce players to RPG plots that are not just action, that are not just tomb raiding, that are not just murder hoboing, as they say, or it's just, I stabbed the innkeeper. Because, for starters, they've got a job to do, and secondly, solving mysteries makes players and their characters alike feel very clever and accomplished. And for you as a DM, it is fun to watch these guys get their man to solve the case, to come together for the big drawing room scene and say what they've got, figure it out, to watch them work together to synthesize the information. And one of the things that is always very interesting about it is that it never goes quite like you as a DM plan, which is what you want out of an RPG, isn't it? Also, it's quite fun to watch them stuff up in ways that any good DM will just quietly behind the DM mask find pretty amusing. Fools. Now, a few tips before we get too far into it. Mysteries work better in short doses, no more than 2 or 3 sessions. It's hard to maintain the mood, it's hard to maintain the focus. Players will need to feel like they are making progress, and over too much time, you lose that. So there's 2 ways that I think that mysteries are best done. Either you do a campaign in which solving mysteries is the whole point, you are a fantasy detective agency or something like that, or you just break up a campaign with a cool mystery in the beginning. First narrative arc, fight the bandit lord. Second narrative arc is going to be fight the dragon king. In the middle, there's a bit of a palate cleanser to just keep things a bit fresh as well. Who killed the local cleric? Easy to do. And because mysteries have this limited shelf life, you may be able to get people to try new game systems or new game worlds if you just wrap that around a mystery, because everyone knows that there is a definite ending in sight, which is also an important thing for a campaign sometimes to have adventures that come to a dramatic close. But the bad news is, it requires a lot of work from a DM to do a mystery. You should know that going in. You don't want to improvise a mystery. They work the best when they are prepared, when you as a DM can control the flow of information, the flow of clues, that you understand what NPC did what, you don't have to guess at it, you don't have to make stuff up on the fly that contradicts what you said within another scene. The more confident you, as a DM, are about what you know happened regarding the crime, regarding the people who did the crime, regarding the ways that you can solve the crime, and regarding your understanding of what the PCs are going to do to solve the crime, the better. If you don't like planning stuff out, it's probably not going to work for you. So before you jump in, there's a few things I would recommend that you do. Firstly, buy a Call of Cthulhu adventure. Call of Cthulhu has been the benchmark of mysteries since the 1980s. 9 out of 10, you're going to get a really, really solid mystery. Set everywhere from 1930s jazz age to space to some sort of weird Ukrainian tractor collective. There are many, many good, solid mysteries. Even if you don't like horror gaming and you just want to do a fantasy D&D game, it is still useful to have a look at how they present these mysteries. You can look up on DM's Guild, type in mystery adventure, that will stay in a fantasy milieu. There's no guarantee of quality though. I'm sure some of them are very, very good. I don't know. I don't really, do that. Or you can go to your local role-playing game con. And this would be my recommendation because it gets you out into the community and you get to meet people and you get to see how these one-shot games are run in the wild, as it were. And you can learn from them, and you'll probably find a D&D mystery game as well if you go a few times, and you can just really, really see these things at play. And if you like that adventure, ask the GM, ask the DM if you can buy the module. So alright, but you decide that you want to go ahead and write your mystery campaign, the first things first is not actually who done it. The first thing first is, what is the crime? Is it murder? Is it a theft? Is it a blackmail? Was it something more fantastic? Is someone somehow keeping the gods from answering prayers? What's going on? And why is it important to be solved? What problems does it cause that someone is motivated to investigate and solve this? Then you need to think about who done it. Who did this crime? Who was capable of this crime? Why did they commit this crime? Did they have compatriots? Did they have compadres who held them out? Who helped them out? Conspirators, mates, whatever. What means did they have? How did they actually do it? You need to, and this is how I do this, I bullet point out exactly what happened. They break into the mansion. They knock out the guard. They poison the dog. They cast a sleep spell on the children, and then they break into the room. So I know exactly then what clues I need to plant. Maybe there's some spell components from the spells around. Maybe you can alchemically understand what the poisons were. This careful planting of seeds as you go, matching up each event to a physical or spiritual or whatever clue, is the heart of mystery writing. And the more you know going in, the better your mystery is going to be. So you need to sit down and really think it through. Witnesses. Who's lying? Who's telling the truth? Who understands what they saw? What will the PCs know? What will the individual PCs understand and know? Plan it all out. Write it all down. Then, how I like to do it is that I set out the physical location if I can, the mansion it took place in, the caves it took place in, the temple it took place in, the train it took place in, and I map little 1, 2, 3, 4. I have little maps, and they are keyed so that in room 1, I look up number 1 clue, the window is smashed, you can see blood, that sort of stuff. All the information is there in front of me. I never need to go, oh, wait up guys, because again, you want to keep confidence and you want to keep the show moving. You also need to be aware of your player character's abilities. Can the necromancer just raise the dead and ask who killed them? Can the mage just spider climb to the top of the locked room and find the hidden clue there? Can the barbarian just push his way through the gate? Will the bard be able to guess the secret password with his lore abilities? And also, you should not be afraid of letting this happen. It's going to make the players feel good. The more you know, the better, and the more esoteric clues, the more it will feel like a D&D game rather than just a regular police procedural kind of a game. Sometimes you are just simply going to get taken by surprise when players use powers and abilities in novel and emergent ways. It's just the nature of the game. If you are thinking that you need to beat them with your cleverness, you're probably not going to have a very, very good time because it always goes wrong. The players always surprise you. The players always come up with some weird novel idea. If you've run D&D for more than 2 or 3 sessions, you have been taken blindside by your players. You are always going to be taken blindside by your players. It's fun. Final bit of advice, watch out for red herrings. We all know how players sometimes just go off the rails with some weird idea. So if you're doing a mystery game, they know they're doing a mystery. This actually happened to me once. Wait, that guy had really, really strong blue eyes. Yes, he did. I just thought it was an interesting little NPC, motif to give him. And the cleric that died was wearing a blue robe. Are they somehow connected? They must be. And I'm sitting there going like, what? Why? No. I didn't want to give it away, but you need to be careful. It's just the nature of players. It's just the nature of the game. You can do a red herring, but you just have to be aware that sometimes players will go down that bloody rabbit hole and they will not easily come back. I think that about covers it. I'm not really going to go into mystery movies that you should watch and all that sort of stuff. Maybe have a look at the Garrett P.I. novels, which are noir, hard-boiled kind of mysteries in a fantasy world, or the Drugera books by Stephen Bruce. I forgot. Have a look at the Gumshoe Rules by a guy called Robin Laws. Robin Laws is a really, really big brain designer. He's a fantastic game designer. He's really got a head for it. He's a classic dude. So much of what he's done is fantastic. Gumshoe, which is an underlying set of mechanics for games that are specifically mysteries. So there's the fantastic Night's Black Agents, which is Spy Vampires, Trail of Cthulhu, a good rival to Call of Cthulhu, loads of other stuff. It's about ways that you make your characters sort of work to develop clues for themselves and for you as a GM. It's a bit complicated to describe over this, but have a look. You will really enjoy it, I think, if you're motivated to do mysteries. There's also inspectors, and if you really want to do more of an Agatha Christie kind of drawing room style, but you, Lady Thackeray, are not left-handed, gasp! You should try this. It's not that hard. All you need to do is be thorough. And if the first time it doesn't work, don't be discouraged, because this kind of is the first real push that most DMs give to themselves. It's the first real kind of, can I level up to a new kind of DMing experience? And honestly, of course you can. I'm not very bright and I can do this. Give it a go. Please tell me what kind of mysteries you have run in your games, what kind of mysteries you've played in your games that you've enjoyed. I'd love to hear about it. Give this video a like, tell your mates, give us a subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye bye now.